Running a little bit late here. That's okay. Better late than never. What I've been told. I'm going to adjust my camera phone in the tripod here, see if I can get it to be a little bit more how it's supposed to be. There we go. Hey, Mike. You saw the sign and opened up your eyes. Are you happy now living without me? I would hope so, because that's just how it goes, man. Having a good day, Mike? And let me see if I can get this fired up so I can follow along on the chat. Let's see. All right, I got too many projects going on, so I'm gonna have to kind of work around a few things. So right in front of you, I've got the lathe. So yesterday I was working on getting the oil reservoirs switched out on the lathe, so getting those cleaned out. So I got those cleaned and done, at least clean enough. Still need to do the electrical on this, switch out the cords and stuff. On a previous live, I flattened this bench. I need to flatten it a little bit more. You can see there's still some of the old epoxy and finish that I still need to remove. So that's a project I'm in the middle of. I'm going to empty out the kiln and put the bench in it, but probably not today. The willow wood is almost all dry except for this really thick piece here. And I'll just put that on top of the bench in the kiln. So I'll let that dry in there. And then once it's dry, then I'll put a new finish on it. The project for today, though, is more signs. So I made signs a while back for the kids in our Sunday school class. They're 9, 10 years old, like this one. And now we've got more kids that have joined our Sunday school class. So I need to make some more signs. So I'm going to use this as a bit of a template. I know it's 1 foot wide, but I wasn't exactly sure of the width. So I want to make them the same width. So the process is going to be rip the wood, the appropriate width, cut them down into 1 foot segments, and use the router to put their names onto it, burn it, and then put a chamfer on them, and then put the finish. Although I think I ran out of the shellac finish that I was using, so I might need to either get some new shellac or use a different finish. So let me think about what is going to be best to do with that. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, so let me clear some things out of the way here so that we can actually have room to work. So, all right, you get to see me moving stuff around. So the nice thing about having things on wheels is that you can move everything around. The bad thing is that I don't have anything in its own place, right? So, all right. I was working on the bandsaw, so it's kind of taken apart a little bit. And it's also working on the lathe, so that's a bit of a mess. The lathe doesn't have wheels, at least not yet. I might add some wheels at some point, but maybe not. All right. So that's going to be the biggest thing that needs to be out of the way. I might need to reposition that so that I can get to some stuff back there. But in the meantime, I know I'm going to need this so that we can rip the wood to the appropriate width. I'll take the crosscut sled off for the moment and raise up the blade. Should be enough. And that is plenty high. And actually, let me keep this over here. And we'll use this guy to figure out my width. Lock him in. And I think that's all I need him for at the moment. So move the router table over as my outfeed support. Take the fence off. And let's see if we can't get you a good view of whatever it is that we're going to cut here. Here we go. All right. And let me get the chat operational on here so that I can see what, if anything, is going on. For some reason, there we go. It didn't want to sign in, but I've got it now. And let's see. Let's get things going on the chat. Usually I like to have all this set up before I start, but we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. And there we go. All right. So, late for a very important date. Maybe early. Yeah, I think I was probably, oh, you were a little bit early, but I was also late. So we got Lions joining us. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Got Chopin Interior from Indonesia, apparently. Sweet. Pine and Oak. Awesome. What's up? Hey, Pine and Oak, we're just going to make some more signs. We got more kids in the class, in the Sunday school class, so I'm going to make some more name signs. So let me find some appropriate wood that could work for it. And hopefully I'm not knocking stuff down too much. I'll just get that stuff down so as not to knock it over. Okay. So let's see what's going to be the best to use. So far, I'm liking this a lot more than this. But I think I had some other shorter boards that I might be able to use instead of cutting those guys up. Let's see. Or in addition to cutting those guys up. So I want them to be 1 foot wide. So that should work. Don't like that there's that knot in it, but you could still make a go of it. All right, so we'll do that guy. This one. This one's a bit marked up. Screw holes, staple holes. The other ones had plenty of marks on them too, but all right. And this guy's got this mark going all the way down. The other side is a little cleaner, but this one just looks a lot easier to use. So I think I'll go with this one for the other two. So I will save this guy for some other project. And on this one, I don't really want to rip the whole thing because I'm only going to use 2 feet worth. So let me cut him off before I rip him. So yeah, I think I'll just try to use to right about here. And that way I can, there's a screw hole right there. I can just cut it there. So if I just go over a foot from there, that will balance. Amazing. And why do I feel rushed? All right, so I'll just cut that guy there for now. And to do that, I will use the miter saw. So let me get the miter saw into position. All right, dropping wood everywhere. All right, so get some PP&E, protect my eyes, protect my ears, and I just use this little Syntec hose system. So I'll connect the vacuum, and let me bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see what's going on over here. And there's the miter saw in all its glory. All right. Here's my mark. And I need to plug this guy in, otherwise he will not run. That is one thing I have learned, is that if you want your machinery to operate, it has to have power. So I'm going to go to right there. This miter saw station does not have any brakes. It's got the wheels, but no brakes. So that might be something I correct on the next iteration. So let me get the vacuum going. All right. And now let me get the miter saw station out of the way. So I'm going to rip these two. Going to save this guy for later. And I'm going to move the miter saw station out of the way. And all right. Let's see. I think I want to get rid of this knot. So I'll cut this side. And I think on this one, I will get rid of this side. All right, let's do this. You know what? helps if I plug this guy in first. So, and this is connected to my dust collection. So plugging in the table saw also plugs in the shop vac with the cyclone separator system. And I've got some videos on how I built this on the channel. So if you're interested, you can check out how I did it. And I will engage the brakes on this one so that it's not moving around, although this shouldn't be a very difficult cut to make. So hopefully it's not. I'm just going to engage half of the brakes. We'll call it good enough. All right. And now we will put the crosscut sled back on. And I'm going to set my stop block to the 1 foot mark, 12 inches. And for all of you watching in non-USA countries, sorry, I don't know how many millimeters that is. And yeah, this is, oh wait, hey, looks like that is about 30 and a half centimeters. So you're welcome. All right. So cut that guy first, but I need to raise up the blade a little bit. And yep, a bit more. And because we don't need the offcut or the outfeed support, I'll move this guy out of the way so you can get a little bit better look at what's going on here. There we go. Hopefully that gives you a good view. And let's see, I'll catch up on everything over here. Okay. And, oh, looks like I messed that up. Hard to catch up on the chat when I have the wrong thing going on chat. So, there we go. All right. Bob Co, hello, thanks for joining us. Raja, thanks for joining us, man. Michael tells us that Jesus loves us, and he does. Hey, Norm, good to see you. Let's see, saw the little short that Mike did on Forstner Bit Guide. I'll have to check that out. I've tried to do that in the past, and yeah, it doesn't work too well. So, trying to use a larger Forstner bit over a smaller Forstner bit hole. So, all right, let's do this. And I think we're done with the table saw for now. So I will scoot him out of the way after I disengage whatever brakes I engaged earlier. And always a good idea to lower the blade when not in use, just in case you want to avoid any unfortunate accidents. When I was telling you about the processes we were going to follow, I forgot to mention the next one that I decided that I am going to do, which is the planer. So just want to get a nice clean surface on both sides of these boards so that they just look nicer. So let's see. All right, feeling a little bit of a catch there. And a little bit. All right, that's probably a good place to start. All right, let's see if this looks interesting at all. All right. All right, I think that's probably cleaned up enough. You can kind of see how much nicer they look. So that one looks like it's got a little bit of snipe. Actually, this one too. I'm going to feed him through again. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to use the opposite side and not worry about the snipe. No, I'll feed him through again. But I'll do one right after the other. And hopefully that will fix the problem. We'll see. All right, that's better. Good. All right. I think I might have fed one of them wrong. Nope, I got them all working right. Good. All right, so I'm going to remove my PPE for a bit because I've got a little bit of cleanup to do now. And then I will move on to our next step. Usually I would just use my vacuum with cyclone separator over there, but I like to use this stuff for mulch on the garden. So I will instead sweep it up and dump it on the garden. Mike likes to make fun of my little mini corn stalks. They are not huge, but you know, we don't need a lot of corn, so it's good enough. And get over here. And I'm not sure if I've got a pathway out to the garden. So let me clear a path here. Here we go. And I don't think I need this tripod today, but I guess we'll find out. You know, I guess I could have put the other camera on there and been recording it with a different view. Maybe next time. I was a little rushed to get this going today, so all right. Go. I'll be right back. There we go. Some of my mulch ended up on the corn stalk leaves instead of on the ground. So here, I'll give you a quick view of the corn for any of you who might be interested. There it is. See? There are even a few little ears of corn growing already. I don't know if you can see those. But the ones on this side are getting a lot bigger than the ones on the other side. So they get a lot more water. So anyway, I probably need to adjust the watering setup. All right, so let me put the planer away and then get everything set up for our next step. Oh, I need to set up a station for my jointer and planer so that I'm not having to lift it around every time. I can just be, just have it, yeah, without having to potentially herniate myself every time. So let's see. All right, let me check the chat, and then I'm going to vacuum up here, and then we'll start on our next step. So, all right. Glad you liked it. Okay. Hi, Mallory. Thanks for joining us. Bob the Builder. Nice setup, proper woodworking. A little bit. Thanks, Lions. Pelato's shop is what I would be if I had a coherent thought process. Mike, you've got coherent thoughts. It's just they're not in the right order. It's all good. Let's see. Great idea, like Picasso. Yeah. Let's see. Have so much I need to organize. Truth of my shop is I'm overwhelmed. Yep. Tools and items for so many disciplines. Tough to organize. Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. That's part of why I made things this way, is that my shop used to be just a workbench actually in the corner like that, and then just tools piled on top of it. And so anytime I needed to do something, it's like, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to not worry about it and And so I didn't get a lot done because every time I would come out to the shop, I would just see this pile of tools. I'm like, all right, what I want is down there, maybe. So anyway, getting things a lot more organized, making the, the French cleat wall, being able to actually see where the tools belong, right? Because now if my drill is over here, I see it there, and instead of saying, oh, that's fine for now, I'm like, that's not where it goes, right? I've got a place for that. And so it's just a lot easier for me to compartmentalize everything and be like, okay, here's where it goes, there's where it goes, get it where it goes, so that's easier the next time around. Let's see, lines is the same, parts from 10 different vehicles in there, 2 bikes, yep. Batram, thanks for joining us, man. Matt, you've got the exact same planer, but found a solid carbide blade set for it. Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about putting, because I replaced the blades shortly after I got this planer, and I was thinking about getting the carbide tooth set for it, but those were expensive, and the guy that I bought the planer from included some replacement blades. So I was like, you know what, I'll just use these, and then maybe when these ones are dull, maybe I'll get the upgrade to the carbide tooth. But they're not dull yet, so they're still working just fine. Mike says, yeah, he's got a lot of processes going on: electronics, woodworking, metalworking, leatherworking, precision, an entire chemistry lab. Yeah. Hey, anyone who's not already following, Mike is making stuff. He's got some really cool videos, so be sure to check him out and subscribe. And subscribe here too, if you're not already subscribed. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Lions Fish Shop, also a really fun channel, so be sure to subscribe to Lions as well. See, a farm of 3D printers out there, yep. The library, music studio, mini bike, yep. Not Smurf corn, it's like corn, yep, it's growing. And then yeah, he's got a mini bike, 196cc, cool. Building it for the kids, awesome. Hey, thanks Kevin for putting Mike's and Lions links in there. So anyone who wants to subscribe to them, go for it. At least check them out, even if you don't subscribe. All right. Next, I'm going to vacuum this up. Getting a little distracted with all of these chats, right? All right. But yeah, anyone who hasn't joined in the chat yet, go ahead and let us know where you're watching from. Have you ever made any signs? What do you like most about the sign making process? All right. Oh, okay. Vacuum wants to do everything except what I want it to do. All right. Bring the mobile router table over here. Well, all my router tables are mobile. It's just this is the only one that's on wheels. I'm going to take the ear protection off for the moment. I'm going to take the fence, put it down here. Got a video about the router table build as well, so if you want to check that out. Oh, and about the vacuum and cyclone separator setup. So if you're like, oh, that's really interesting, go ahead and check out those videos. All right, let's see what we can do here. And all right, so I'm going to use this as my workspace to write out the names. And let's see here. I think I used a 1/4 inch as my border on the last one. Let me see. You know what? I think I want to use a little bit finer pencil if I can. There we go. That should work. All right. So and oh, looks like I used 1/2 inch as the border. No, I think I just didn't come up as high on that. Let's see if it was, yeah. No, I'm not so sure. Yeah, it looks like I did use 1/2 inch. I just wasn't as consistent on the top and the bottom on that one as maybe I should have been. So, all right. So this is just my border. I'm going to try to have all of my letters contained inside of these lines. Ah. All right, here we go. All right, so what is my 1/2 inch point? My halfway point. Hey, what do you know? Looks like that's actually 1 foot long. So halfway, what I did before and what I'm thinking to do again is just to base everything off of the middle letter of the name, and then start from the middle and work my way to either side. So the first one, let me see, the first one is Jagan. Jagan. So the G goes in the middle. And so I'm going to use, I'm going to make the letters bigger than this. On the longer names, I just use this as the width of each letter. But where I'm just using 5 letters on this one. What did I use for that? You know what? Let's just go double. And that is not coming through very visibly. Actually, I'm going to make it so I can, I'll use the combination square. That would, yeah. So my wife came out to the shop a little while back. She doesn't, she's not really into shop sort of things. And that's going to be way too wide to do that. Have a letter be that big. That's too much. And then that doesn't give me enough room for the other letters. So time for the eraser. Let's see what 180. I use my 220. There we go. I'll leave the eraser over here because I'm sure I'll need it some more. All right, so I'm gonna make this a lot shorter. Something like that. And I think if I just go 1.5 size, that's probably good, right? No, that's still, what am I doing? That's still double. I'm marking in the exact same place that I just decided not to mark. I am brilliant. All right. So I need to go. No, I'm just going to call it. I'm just going to do 1 inch. All right. And we'll just have a fair amount of space between his letters here. I need an A on either side. Of the G. And then I'm trying to avoid that knot as best I can. We've got a D. And an N. So N, 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 and this is the most time-consuming part of making the signs. And the curves are the worst because they're so easy to screw up. All right, and then it's probably higher than I wanted to go on those, but somewhat close to the, not that close to the middle, really. Do that. Bring those down. And eraser to the rescue again. Well, I'll just remember to, maybe I'll remember to cut the lower one rather than try to erase those. All right, next. June. So, just going to mark here even fewer letters. Okay. So, we'll do a U. Actually, I can just. All right, so my center point of view is there. And then I'll just space out there. And end my J there, and there. And there's the middle of my J. All right. And can't really see where I marked earlier on that. Right. Hmm. Okay. All right. We need an N. Ends I like. Ends I can do. And then I'll just space out my E. And of course I got that a little bit off. All right. But okay. And then my E. All right. That should work, right? For June. And I was saving this one for last because it's a lot more letters. Let's see how we're doing on chat here. Sorry for ignoring you guys so far. All right. So yeah, we got the links for everybody. Yeah, Kevin has a really good point. Lots of likes. You know, everyone hit the like button. Hutun, hello. Thanks for joining us. Mike says he's intrigued with the sign process. Purchased a detailed set of bits for the trim router. Cool. Yeah, I thought about getting some like router templates for letters and stuff to make this process a lot simpler and nicer. Because as you'll see, and as you can see from this one, you know, my handheld routering skills are, you know, not necessarily perfect, but so let's see. Only there were these tools that could pinch stuff and temporarily hold. Please, it's called a clamp. Yeah, you know, clamps can be good. Let's see if we can hit 50. Yeah, that'd be great. Feng Yin, hello. Tamana, thanks for joining us. Making some signs, Tamana. Yeah, doing nameplates. So right now I'm just marking everything out. Jessica, thanks for joining us. Ramulu, hello. Bill, hello to all, he says. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Yep. Swami, hello. And Bill. Okay, yeah, I saw Bill. Awesome. All right. I think that catches us up on the chat. So let me tackle Elizabeth now. So let me think. Elizabeth. So 9 letters, right? Liz Beth 9. So Eliza is going to be our middle letter, right? The A. If I'm wrong on that, please let me know immediately. And I will use my eraser judiciously. Okay. Eliz. All right, so let's do a Z right there. And I'm just trying to kind of eyeball the distance between the letters. Eliz. So Eliz. All right, so now I need an I. But I think I'm going to cram that I in a little bit. Because I can. Eyes don't take as much space as other things. Okay. And then an L. And an E. All right, so let's get those marked in, and then I'll work on the other side. Z. Okay. And I'll get those later. Well, actually, I'll get them now. So RE, A, Liz, BETH. All right. All right, so on my B, maybe there. Okay. B, B. Not the cleanest of B's, but hopefully it still works. All right. Ooh, that might be a little too close when I actually start routing here. And maybe tight. I think I'm going to make my T a little shorter to try to compensate for everything. And then we'll cram the H in right there. And then the let's see, does that T look weird? Yes. But we'll just say that it's balanced by the I on the other side and not worry about how weird it as it is. Right? Right? Can we all agree on that? All right. Check in on our chat. Let's see. We've got one, right? Akib, hello. Carmen, hello. 50 likes, awesome. Yeah, let's hit 75 or 100 or 1,000, you know, whatever. I won't be upset. All right, now need to find our next step, which is the router. Get this. Oh, this is some old firewood that ended up being cedar, and so I milled it up a little bit and made some stuff with it. And this is some of the remnants that I haven't made anything with yet. But one of these days, I'll make something. Yeah, here's one of the things that I made out of it. So this crappy box joint box. Have a recent video that talks about doing a much better job on the box joints than I did on that one. I mentioned in the video that that I keep this one around the shop as a reminder of not just how poorly I did on that one, but on how far I've come, right? So I'm doing much better with my more recent builds than what I did on that one. All right, so I've got a router here, but this is not the router I'm going to use to carve with because it is big and not that easy to do delicate work with. So I used this to flatten the top of this bench over here with my homemade router sled. So, all right, so let me go to my router collection and get an alternative that I'm hoping still has the same V-groove or V-shaped bit. It does. Good. And it looks like I even left it in the same position as last time. So it should be, yeah. So it's a V-shaped bit. I don't know how easily that's coming across on camera. But I like the effect for doing signs. All right, so get that out of the way, get that out of the way. And Randy says he's just cutting shapes once in a while. Yeah, just cutting shapes once in a while, community education, electric, yeah. Yep, we are doing electric stuff for sure. But, all right, so I'm gonna clean this off because I've got some sawdust and stuff from prior projects, and I want a clean surface, dust-free if possible, because my next step is going to involve some tape, and I want the tape to actually stick. All right. Let me find my double stick tape, which, as I mentioned before, is right where it belongs. Because once you have an organization system that works, it's good to keep at it. All right. So let's start with the fewest letters first. So we'll go with June. And I always like to leave a little bit of a tail on the backing for my tape, because otherwise I have the darndest time trying to get the backing off of the tape at this point. But since I left a little bit of a tail, it comes off real easily. And then when I come over here, just rip it like that. So I've got a much longer tail, which is fine. Doesn't really bother me in the moment. But then before I go to put this tape away, I'll just cut off all but like an inch or so of the backing, and voila. All right, so I'm just going to secure June to the workbench, the sign, not the person or the month. And let me try and reposition you so you can have a little bit better view of what exactly is happening. And hopefully that doesn't, hopefully I don't bump you around as I'm going here. So this is a pretty old router. It's the Bosch 1604, and I got this used from someone on Facebook Marketplace, I think. Sold it to me for really cheap, And you might say, well, yeah, it doesn't even have one of the handles, right? So yeah, I've been thinking to make one. And it's like, that'd be really good to do on a lathe. And I have a lathe, right? But I just haven't gotten the lathe operational yet. I need to switch out the electrical so it's grounded and a little bit safer. But anyway, I've found that it's a lot easier to make the letters when I'm pulling the router toward me versus pushing it away from me. So one of the little helpful hint for anyone who maybe wants to try this. I'm putting on my hearing protection, and I've already got my eye protection on. And here we go. All right, so not perfect. My as I was pushing away on this U, kind of floated to the right a little bit, and then my N I did okay. It looks like I've got a little bit higher right here than there, and then my E, when I shifted directions, didn't keep it as smooth as I wanted. So I've got a little bit of a, we'll call it cursive loop in there. All right, so let me just check in on our chat before we do our next step on this one. So, hey, John, thanks for joining us, man. Lynn, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the heart. Let's see, Junior Rod, JR Rod, thanks for joining us. Pelano's like Bob Ross for woodworkers. Thanks, Randy. I'm definitely not on the Bob Ross level, but appreciate the sentiment either way. Lynn, yep. CNG, hey, thanks for joining us, man. And Kevin, thanks for coming and helping out in the the chat and the moderation and everything. All right, let me grab our next step, which is more erasing. So I've got all these pencil marks that I want to get rid of. So I'll use the random orbital for that. And throw on a fresh 220. And we will I'm gonna make room for him by unplugging something else. There we go. And I've got the little Syntec hose set up here. So not sponsored, of course, but so that way I've got some dust collection as we go. It won't collect everything because we've got these divots in here, so dust will still collect there, but it'll be better than nothing. So here goes the vacuum and the sander. All right, and I'm going to use the air compressor here because I like the effect. And here we go. All right, and then the next step in the process before I remove this one and move on to our next sign. Involves a very fun substance. When I got this out making signs with my wife a few weeks ago, she became very concerned, and then she became very giddy. She really liked this step. So hope you do too. Fire. There we go. All right. I want a really well-defined edge because I'm going to chamfer these edges like I did on this one here. And so I just want to have a nice defined difference there. So I'm going a little bit heavier on the edges, burning on the edges. And with that, I will remove this hot thing and the tape and drop the torch down. I really like this double stick tape because it holds really well and then it releases really well. But after it releases, it's no good for a next, for another go. So you get one shot, and and you need to move on to some different tape. Yeah, when I made a little homemade wood drying kiln that I just have in my shop here, just show you real quick. It's right over there. So I made that out of 1-inch foam board and just taped it with HVAC tape, HVAC insulated tape. And everyone who was on the live while I did that got to enjoy quite a bit of fun. Oh, looks like I accidentally hit green screen. I don't know how to undo that. Let me see. Anyone know? Let's see here. Green screen. Oh, there we go. And no green screen. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, people. All right. And yeah, everyone that saw that live got to enjoy me having quite a bit of struggle with removing the tape, or with removing the backing off of tape. Why did I write Dagan? It's Jagan. What in the world am I doing? Glad I noticed that before I started cutting. Man. I just barely met him today, but still I should do better. All right. All right. And I don't like doing J's. D's aren't really any better, but okay. Oh, that's okay. There we go. But this now looks really far from the A, don't you think? Well, part of that is because of the knot that I wanted to avoid. So we'll still avoid the knot and try to make it work well. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. All right. Let's see here. Checking on our chat. Happy little accidents. Yeah, I have a lot of accidents, and that's for sure. A lot of things that don't turn out exactly how I anticipate. Some hearts from Lynn, appreciate it. JR's right outside Philly, cool. Don't forget the like button, everybody, says Kevin. Heidi, thanks for joining us. Alpha Wolf, hello. And Lions claims that I did awesome. And let's see. Let's go. All right. Let me just use a printer to print the name to size, route it out, then peel, sand the paper off. Ooh. You know what, Kevin? That's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm a little late on these ones. But yeah, that's not a bad thought. Probably be a little bit easier. But so the next time that I do a bunch of name signs for kids in our Sunday school class, maybe I'll do it that way. All right. And we'll sand it. All right. Oh, I forgot to turn on the vacuum. So. All right. And then get the cord out of the way here before I turn on the torch. You see that sap? See the sap boiling up there? Kind of cool. All right. And now for Elizabeth. What do you guys think of Jagan's burn? And the I don't know how well you can see that boiled sap on the knot. Yeah. And yeah, where's the fun in that, Kevin? It's using printing the name and using a glue stick. I would actually probably just use a spray adhesive if I were gonna do that, Kevin. Maybe a glue stick would be better than a spray adhesive, but yeah, where's the fun in that? Happens quick. Yeah, it's not too difficult. Hey Matthew, good to see you. Doing all right. More tonight. Let's see. What are you? Questions? I can't see that. I can't see what your last emoji is there. And then somebody's saying hello, but I cannot read whatever script that is. So use a wire brush if you want more lines in it. Oh, okay. Hadn't thought about that. All right. So let's see how we do on a sign for Elizabeth. All right. So I started on that Z thinking it was an A because I didn't see where exactly my Z ended here. So I'm just going to mark that a little bit better here. So I've got a definite start and or end point. I would have preferred to start over here and then come down and over, but all right. And all right. Matthew is on Johnny's live. Cool. But Mike Stanifer is in the building. Thanks for joining us, man. Just relaxing after mowing. I mowed yesterday morning before it got too hot. All right. 82 likes. Ooh, 82 likes. Wow, let's hit 100 or 1,000, whatever. And best way to show support to any channel. Yeah, no kidding. Audrey, hello. Thanks for joining us. And so our next step is sanding again, and I'm going to connect my vacuum to the sander and actually turn it on this time. So vacuum and sander. All right, and I'll vacuum that off. All right. So one thing I noticed as I was going that I know what the problem is now. So it felt like I was bumping things periodically as I was moving this along. And I see now that this screw is not flush, or it's not under the surface. So sometimes I was bumping that as I was moving along. So that caused me some consternation. So I'll have to, actually, I'm going to just adjust that right now while I'm thinking about it. Looks like I'll need a flat screwdriver. And I wonder who I can blame for that. I know it wouldn't be my fault. Certainly it's someone else who's been messing with my tools, I'm sure. Back in the days when my son still lived at home, he's 20 now and moved out off to school and everything. It used to be really easy to blame him for stuff, but a little more difficult when he's not here. All right. Matthew subscribed to Lions. Excellent. Everyone else should too. Lions has an awesome channel. Comment, like, subscribe. Cost you nothing. I like this, Matthew. That's great. Don't need to do a super chat. Right. Yeah, no super chats needed. Just like and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right. Got your back. That's your at. Dylan, blame Dylan. What did he do? I must have missed something. All right, let's see. Looks like, okay. These are just a couple little staple marks from because I got this wood from some old packaging or shipping materials that I'm repurposing. So that's and the B right here. I don't know if you can see when I was coming down. I think I hit that screw on the edge because it bumped me down. And I was like, oh crap, what happened? So anyway, onto our next step, and I think maybe the most popular step. Fire. All right. So this one I have to be kind of careful because especially these little thin areas between the letters, that can burn really easily. So I'm trying not to exert too much heat in those spots. I already burnt kind of in the letter a little bit there because I was going at an angle instead of straight down, but oh well. All right, that should work. All right. So here's what we've got so far. And now we're on to the next stage. Getting pretty close to finish, but we're not there yet. So the next step, I've got to get a chamfer like on this one. So I'm going to set up the router, and I will set that up over on the other router table. So I've already got a chamfer bit on this router table, but I think I need to adjust its height. So, all right. And then I've got my power cable all tangled up here. So forgive me a moment as I untangle the power. All right. Plug that in. One of the main reasons why I made this router table was because there were several things I didn't like about this router table, this one on top. And the main things I didn't like about it were related to the fence. And so after I made this router table, I thought, you know what, why not just make a new fence like the one I made for this one, for this router table. So that's what this is. So I'm really liking how it works. So let me give you as good a view of this as I can. So this is my dust collection port. So slide that out, slide that up, and then I can just fit my vacuum hose right in there. Slide this back down, and then slide this in over the top. I have to push down kind of hard to get that to slide in, but that's good because it locks this almost all the way down so that there's not really much pressure, not really much air leakage. So then all of that is concentrated right at the port here. So let me see how much chamfer we did on this guy. Let's see if that's close. I'm going to unplug the router while I'm positioning him. All right, I'm going to take him down a little bit. All right, let's see how that does. We'll start with June, like we did before. All right, so I'm going face down. Let me actually give you a view from the other side here. Seems like that wants to focus in on the corner of the router table instead of on the bit. Let me see if I can give you a better view of what I'm getting you so far. Let me get a little slab of plywood to support the tripod over here. reposition that a little bit. And hopefully get you all a decent view. Let's see how that does. Might get a little bit of vibration as this starts up, but that's all right. Good, good, good. Good vibration. Looks all right. All right. So after using the router to chamfer the edges and adjusting the tripod, that's what they look like now before applying a finish. Now the finish that I used on Remington and all the other boards was spray shellac. But I'm pretty sure I ran out of spray shellac when my wife and I had a competition not too long ago. Well, actually, feels like there might be some in here, but maybe the accelerant is gone. Either way, I'm taking off my eye and ear protection because I want to. And I'm unplugging the router and I'm unplugging the sander and putting it away because there's a place for everything, right? And everything should go in its place so that I can find it for next time. All right, and let me check in on that, see if there's anything that I'm missing out on here. Actually, I'm gonna use the air compressor so that I can see things better. All right. Johnny's Lathe Crafts is here, also a great channel. Everyone check him out. But if someone could put a link in the chat for Johnny's channel, he's got some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, fire in the hole, right? Show it off. Lions is falling asleep. What? What in the world? Dude, it's only, what is it, 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning where you're at? Can't believe you're falling asleep already. Lions is off in the UK. And we got Jabril Diallo. Thanks for joining us, man. Let's see, Aaron. Aaron Etchen cut above the rest. Interesting name. Dude, sweet. Appreciate it. 100 likes. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. All right. Trying to figure out what he meant. Yeah, I don't know. I missed it. Sorry, guys. Don't know what he was trying to say. And all right. Lacquer is better than shellac. Yeah, shellac is water soluble. Yeah, Matthew, the brother of Remington is not Colt. When I made this, one in a previous live, one of the commentators, one of the people in chat, suggested that they must be gun lovers, and I'm not saying they're not gun lovers, but based on his middle name, I'm gonna guess that the primary reason that he's named Remington is not because of guns, because his middle name is Steele. So anyway, any of you that get the reference for Remington Steele, you're maybe a little bit older than the average YouTuber. But hello, Carol. Hey, thanks for putting Johnny's link in there, Kevin. Appreciate it. And any other creators that we have in here, like LJ Woodworks is in here. Let's get his link in here too, so everyone can check out his cool wood turning and lathe work. And he's really easy to watch and listen to. Let's see. LJ, Todd, Johnny, yep. And okay, I'm guessing that the ha-ha-has and LOLs are about Remington's middle name. All right, so let me see if this shellac will work. I will give you a little bit backed up view here. I'm going to rearrange these, I think, to like this. And let's see if I've got any shellac left in here. If I do, great. If I don't, oh well. But I'm definitely hearing something as I shake it up, which I'm thinking is a good sign, but we'll see. Might just be that there's plenty of shellac left, but no more accelerant. There we go. Shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Twist and shout. I'm not going to twist or shout, probably. Depends on if anything goes terribly wrong. But we'll shake it up. So we've at least got one coat of shellac. So let that dry for a bit. And then apply a second coat and a third if we have enough capacity. It'd be nice if we do, but no guarantees one way or the other. And I'm going to check in on chat while waiting for that to dry. Not quite like waiting for paint to dry, but kind of close, right? All right. All right, so where's everyone watching from? Let me know if you haven't already. I am in the United States of America, in Idaho, near the capital city of Boise, which is where I was born. I am an Idaho native. And let's see. Oh, Matthew says shellac is used in the food industry for getting jelly beans shiny. Yeah, I think I might have known that. And if your can is empty of propellant, you can use a compressor to carefully add air in the can. That is interesting to know. I was unaware of that. I think I'd be a little bit concerned about the carefully part. I'm not sure how carefully I can do that. Norm is watching from Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us, man. Devil from Iraq. I have never been to Iraq. I've heard of it. Never been there. Matthew in Quebec. Am I saying that right, Matthew? I always heard it Quebec growing up. But it seems like more recently I've heard it as Quebec, without the the W-ish sound, the qua. Quebec. Let's see. LJ loves how fast shellac dries. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like it. Lacquer also dries really quickly, but lacquer smells awful, and so I have to wear my it's got some nasty toxic chemicals in it, and so I'm I don't want to have to wear my respirator, so I've got it still out from when I was surfacing my bench over here, because this bench, I made it out of a log that was just left at our house here when we moved in. It was already here, and my wife said it was ugly. I thought it was rustic, and so I kind of leveled it with an electric hand planer. This is over a year ago, and then I poured. I used a little bit of filler for some of these, voids and stuff. And I don't know if you can see, but kind of over here, there's a little bit of filler still remaining. In here, it doesn't look that great. There's some from over here. So there's a lot of kind of rot and stuff in the log. So I was just trying to fill it. After the filler, I put epoxy down. And the idea was that the epoxy would, fill in all the gaps and make it nice and level. My first round of epoxy did not go well at all, and I ended up doing a second round of epoxy because the first round, there were some spots that really soaked it in, and it ended up dry, and other spots where it just pooled, and so it didn't level at all, really. The epoxy that I was using was intended more for countertops, and so the experience that I had was that the epoxy would self-level, right? But not the case when you're working with something like this. So anyway, I ended up doing a second round of epoxy, and actually kind of brushed it in, and kind of made it level myself. If there were spots that were soaking in more, I would move more epoxy over there, and so anyway, then after the epoxy, I put on a polyurethane level, coat of polyurethane, and then put it out by the fire pit. And what I found is that it did not do well. And so, to be fair to like the epoxy manufacturers, they told me not to do it. They said it isn't intended for outdoor use. But I was like, oh, I'll put the polyurethane. That'll give me some UV protection. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine, and so I had sap boiling up through through these knots, and the UV did a number on both the poly and the epoxy. So I flattened most of it. So this is still the polyurethane and epoxy right there. You can kind of see, maybe you can see that there's like the little layer of epoxy that's partially removed there. And so then you've got that portion that's remaining. So I've got a little bit more flattening to do on that one, and then the fact that it had the sap boiling up, I've learned that the log wasn't dry, even though it was sitting outside for who knows how long. So I'm going to put this guy in my homemade kiln that I was showing you guys earlier over there after I empty out that willow wood, and get it so that it's actually dry. And then, rather than epoxy and polyurethane, I'm not sure what I'm going to do to fill the voids. Maybe I'll still use epoxy for that, or maybe I'll just use a wood filler, or maybe just good old sawdust and glue, just a homemade wood filler. But tell me in the comments what you think would be the best to fill these voids. And should I stick with epoxy? Should I try something different? And then once I fill the voids, then I'm probably just going to use a penetrating oil, and I'll have to come back and reapply the oil every year. But I'd rather reapply the oil than have to start from scratch and resurface the whole thing like I did this time around. So, all right, these are probably ready for, oh, not quite, getting close to ready for another round of shellac. So let me check in on what everyone has said. Let's see. So LJ watching from Ohio, Johnny in Mississippi, MISSISSIPPI, and Matthew on adding air to the adding compressed air to. Hey everybody, sorry about that. Apparently my phone decided to overheat, and so I did what anyone would do in that situation: sandwich it in ice packs. So I'm trying to get it to cool down quickly. So hopefully I didn't lose everybody. Oh, well, looks like I probably did lose just about everybody. But all right, we're back for anyone who wants to continue watching. Oh, hey, looks like we've got most people back here. So sorry about that issue with overheating, but I think we've got it under control now. And let's see. All right, LJ. Okay, we still got LJ and Matthew. Awesome. All right, so let's get. I think we're dry enough now for our second coat of shellac. Before my phone so rudely overheated, I'm not sure how much you guys heard versus not, but let me try and get these all in frame. So yeah, I like the shellac because it doesn't stink, and I think it was LJ claiming that Deft lacquer doesn't stink. I haven't been able to find Deft. I was looked for it a while back, but so I heard about it being good, but didn't find any. I don't know if they changed manufacturers or what it was, but something like that it seemed. So anyway, all right, here we go. Round 2 of shellac. Shake, shake, shake. All right. So let those dry. And all right, we got Mohammed still here. Awesome. Got James from KS, which I'm assuming is Kansas. Could be a lot of other things, but we'll say Kansas. I got stuck while reading the comment about refilling the air pressure in the can. Gotcha. They renamed it to ProLux. Okay. Deft sound like death. Yeah. Maybe I need to enunciate better. Deft rather than death. And James is claiming yup, which I'm assuming he is just confirming that my assumption of Kansas is correct. So unless I hear differently, I will continue on that assumption, James, that you are from Kansas. So we are on our second round of shellac on these guys. So it dries pretty quickly. So just within a few minutes, I'll be able to try another round, see if I've got enough. It's getting pretty light. It doesn't sound like there's a lot more shellac in there, but we'll see whatever we can get on a potential third coat. Yeah. Universal Boss says hello. And also says my name, which is okay. I'm not exactly sure what that message is, Universal Boss, but hello either way. Yeah, thanks for joining us, man. Hope you enjoy the live stream here. James claims that Kansas is God's country. I would say that every country is God's country. So he owns it all. It all belongs to him. So yeah, and it dries pretty quickly. Not quite dry yet, but a few more minutes and it should go. So, Universal Boss watching from India, awesome. I have never been to India. They're pretty big country, tons of people. Let's see, will I be painting the letters? I wasn't planning to, James. So I'm just using the same technique that I did on this prior round. So see good old Remington here. So just trying to make them the same as I did. These are all for kids that are in our Sunday school class at church. So they're 9 and 10 years old. And so I made 9 of them in a couple of prior live videos. But we had some more kids move into our congregation and join our class, and so needed to make some more signs. So I haven't given all of those other signs out yet. We intended to give them probably like 3 weeks ago. And so we had them wrapped up so that the kids could unwrap them as gifts. And then we had several visitors that day, and so we decided not to have gifts for the kids that we had made signs for, and then no gifts for the kids that were visiting. And so rather than give them in class, we were hoping to take them around tonight to the kids. But we'll see if we have enough time after we get this shellacking done. So yeah, not planning to paint the letters. Can I do Kalen? I can do Kalen, but as I was just mentioning, these signs are for kids in our Sunday school class. So if you join our Sunday school class, for the 9 and 10-year-olds, I will do a sign for you. We've got another guy, Noah, who was asking for signs for him as well, and gave him the same offer. So if you join our Sunday school class with the 9 and 10-year-olds, well, I'll do a sign for you too, man. In the groove I've made, I can use crayons and blow torch pieces of it to melt them and put epoxy on top of it. Ooh, I could. I could do that. I'm not going to do that, but I could. That's a pretty good idea. Yeah, I could melt some wax in these guys, and then yeah, not quite dry, still a little bit tacky. Yeah, that's kind of a cool thought. Melt the crayons, and then put epoxy over the top. Yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. Well, I'm not going to do it on this, but I might steal that idea for another project sometime. So, all right. Yeah, we still see some wetness there. James claims that he did the same thing. First, my horses' names on their stalls. How did the horses appreciate the names on their stalls? I'm hoping that our Sunday school kids like these at least as well as your horses do on their stalls. So let's see. We've got one more round of shellac to go, and then we should be ready to deliver these. So getting close. That feels dry enough, but on these edges it's still a little bit wet. But I'm going to start shaking up the shellac so it's nice and ready. James says hard to tell on whether the whether the horses liked their names. He says they had long faces. Yeah. Okay, almost done. My wife is letting me know how late it is, and that we're running out of time to deliver these name signs. So hopefully we can get this wrapped up quickly. And even if these are not quite dry, I'm still gonna press forward with whatever shellac I've got left in this can. And here we go. All right. Here we go. Elizabeth, June, Jagan, and then, of course, previously completed, Remington. So All right. All right. Nail polish works as well, in addition to the wax idea. Yeah, nail polish would work. The thing about the wax that is maybe kind of cool is that it would, the wax would kind of fill in those grooves rather than like painting them. It kind of fills it in, so you can just kind of scrape off whatever extra wax you might have. And so anyway, that just seemed kind of a cool idea to use wax rather than like a paint. But yeah, nail polish or all sorts of other paints could work as well. So all right, I think we're all good on that. I've got my torch to put away here. I've got to put away my router table back under the bench. And while we wait for those signs to dry, and then I need to get moving to deliver signs before all the kids are in bed and asleep, even though like it doesn't get dark here very early. We've got probably another couple of hours of daylight, but you never know when parents are going to be wanting their 9 and 10-year-olds in bed. So I think I'll give you a little crazy view here, and I will disconnect the vacuum from my router table fence, and get the router table put away. And those go with the router table. And how do you like my tripod stand thing here? Makeshift tripod holder surface thing. And gotta get this put away and where it belongs. Put the ice back in the freezer. Hopefully we don't need to cool off the phone again. But just in case we do have to cool it off, it'd be nice if the ice bricks are frozen instead of warm. And combination square goes over here, and the multi-measuring tool goes next to it. The pencil goes in the pencil holder. The rulers go on the magnet over here. The router goes with the other routers. I've got a bit of a router collection going over here. Actually, I just have the 2 that I store over here. Then I've got the router in this router table, and then another router in this router table, and then the Palm router I store up here on the French cleat wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 routers that I'm aware of. Let's see. See if there's anything else that I need to put away right away. I think that's probably good. So let me check in on our chat again. Thanks for the time. Yeah, thanks, James, for joining us. And it's 21:57, so nearly, what is that, 10 p.m., 2200 hours. Getting kind of late there. And thanks for the live. Hey, thanks for joining me, Norm. Appreciate it. And please tell me he's building a railgun. I don't think so. Maybe at some point. Wasn't planning on it. And sad face. Yeah. Hey, but thanks, Justin and Eloy, for being here. And with that, I think we're done for the day. But make sure you subscribe and like, and all the stuff, so that next time you can join us. And who knows, maybe a railgun. I'm not even sure what that is, but maybe I know, but probably I don't. Maybe a railgun is on our next live. So be sure to subscribe and like and all the stuff. And thanks for joining us, and see you next time.